Violence in Venezuela is spreading as the people take to the streets to protest. Lives are being lost. What if this spreads to your doorstep? Around the world, there have been military training exercises on public streets without warning, a preparation for a new type of war. Urban war zones, congested metropolises, countless civilian lives at risk. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at Venezuela, and I want to expand on that. Let's move into the first article. Basically, this is talking about the violence which has erupted, and overnight 12 people were killed. This is all during the looting and the violence in this South American nation's capital amid the spiraling political crisis. Many people have taken to the streets. They are protesting against Maduro. They want this individual who has attempted to seize control to make the legislative branch obsolete. Imagine where you live, the Congress, the Parliament no longer exists. So in the US, instead of the gang of 535, you just have an even smaller group of people making the rules. That's never a good thing. The more people making the rules, potentially, the better. Anytime you're going to have one person making the rules, I assure you, things get a little lopsided. So we don't want to move in that direction. A connected article with that, it's talking about more specifics. Venezuelan riot police fired tear gas and rubber bullets for a second day Thursday to break up the protests by Maduro's opponents, further inflaming tensions. We are looking right now at a situation that has become critical. It's not on its way to become critical. I would say it is, in fact, at this moment, very, very dangerous for everyone that lives there. I have spoken to many people who are on the streets right now who tell me about what's happening, and they're suffering. There are different reasons why this is going on today. Oil obviously playing a role in that. And there's more to that in a moment. Essentially, what I want to say about this, plain and simply, is that this could occur in any city around the world. Let me move into something here. Right now, San Francisco had a power outage affecting nearly 90,000 business and residential customers. Obviously, this is big. The concern is that people are not prepared. If they had, let's say, backup generators, or even better yet, some sort of solar power, they would be prepared. But ultimately, the majority of people, they're not prepared. This is why I stress this so much in the Money GPS strategy. But essentially what we have here is a common theme: people not prepared, disaster strikes, then the panic comes. The people of Venezuela, generally in Caracas, just like any other major city, they're not ready in case something bad happens. They weren't growing that garden. They didn't get the backup generator or the solar panels. They thought they would do it at a later time, or perhaps they were just too complacent or too ignorant. Venezuela's in the crisis right now. A lot of people are suffering. They weren't prepared. The people of San Francisco, probably in the same situation. Now, power gets restored. But what if that outage lasted too long? Or what if it was like Hurricane Katrina and people were really suffering? People didn't have basic facilities for long periods of time. Then we have panic. Then we have chaos and riots and looting. And then we have what always happens, and that is either the military or the militarized police take to the streets to restore order. Order out of chaos. DHS coordinates national-level exercise to prevent terrorist attacks with federal, state, local, tribal, private sector, and international partners. This is back from 2009, right from the DHS own website. This is what they call NLE09, National Level Exercise 2009. This is just one of many. I have read many of these documents over the years, and they essentially have a common theme. Your liberty, your freedom, gone out the window. And they do so, what seems to me, and it's made public in many of the more current documents like this, that what they do is essentially prepare using the general streets for people, taking over everything, the asset seizure that occurs, the searches that occur on people, loss of liberty, and all of this because of a potential crisis or a current crisis. So if there's a bomb goes off, Boston bombing, they could knock on your door or break it down, come in, do a search, looking for that individual. And that's just one example. They use it as a crisis, any crisis, as an opportunity. Look at Hurricane Katrina, where many, many people were suffering. They use that as an opportunity to go into the high and dry places and take people's guns away. And it was a known fact, that innocent people died because of the government's activities. Northcom, National Guard complete, Vigilant Guard 17. This is fairly new information. And this is just one of many, as I've said. But the point remains the same. Now, is it only in the US? Absolutely not. Search for military exercise in the name of your city or the name of your province or region or state or what have you. I'm sure you're going to come up with something like this. This is Canada, where everything is so wonderful and so nice. Look at Toronto. Out of city news, that's local TV, we are not being invaded. That's a quote. Police apologize for flippant tweet about military exercises. They literally put that in a tweet after you had military riding around the lake and you had them walking down the streets carrying these guns. Now the guns, turns out they were actually fake guns, but to an individual just looking, they look like real guns. And people get spooked, naturally so. But of course, you can see that they really don't care. You have essentially army soldiers coming down your streets. You are going to be freaked out. You're not used to it. You're wondering, what the heck has happened? Are we being invaded? And then they come out with a tweet to inform people. Anyway, just wanted to show you, it goes for all cities around the world. The military, the police, they are preparing to take to the streets for any form of crisis. This right here is from Wikipedia, and it is extremely detailed. You probably can't see the font, it's too small. But essentially what we have is a list of riots. Just the bottom section there, that's 2017. You know that riots occur regularly. It isn't something that happens once a year or once every 10 years. They're occurring all the time. Different cities around the world. Any of these where, it might just be a couple people injured. You have a spark that has been lit. And that could very easily expand into something worse. This is an opportunity to be seized by the powers that be. Now, I'm going to switch gears. What we're talking about is the economy. And we wouldn't have a situation had the economy truly been doing well and there was prosperity in the nation, not just for a select few people. Actual true prosperity. This is occurring, and that is businesses are dying. New ones are being built, but there are many businesses which are not doing well. You do see particular companies doing extremely well. Take Apple as an example. However, it's public. People don't know this, but the central banks around the world receive incentives. I've done this countless times. Receive incentives to buy stocks. They also buy pretty much everything because they're just printing up the money for free anyway. And they buy up these equities, but are they buying an entire index? No. They buy particular stocks. Those stocks are being pushed to high levels. If you went to any particular sector and you extract the top few stocks, I won't put a number on it, you would have a very different picture of the economy because it isn't the whole sector doing well. You have very much few winners and a lot of losers. But most people don't care. Hopefully, they're on the right side of that trend and they're investing with the winner, right? Anyway, this example is just basically showing you all the different stores that have been closing. They're closing their brick-and-mortar stores, and they say that a lot of that has to do with online shopping. I do tend to agree that online shopping is definitely putting a detriment to the brick-and-mortar type store. I will, however, say that a lot of this is due to the global economy worsening. There are less people interested in this. Perhaps they've maxed out on the amount of debt they have. Maybe they are choosing to, save money at this time if they can. They're paying off their debt. They are cash strapped. All I know is that many stores have been closing. Then I get into this. Actually, it's a fantastic article, believe it or not, out of the Washington Post, talking about Saudi Arabia, getting to a lot of detail. If you really want to know very briefly what's happening in Saudi Arabia with the oil, with the connections in with the US and the other countries as well, this article is worth your time. Definitely worth your time. I'll just quickly go over this. Ever since oil was discovered in the Arabian Desert in 1938, Saudi Arabia has been the world's premier petrostate and the dominant force within the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, right? Flush with oil revenue. Check out how different this is if you live in, let's say, Canada, US, UK. Flush with oil revenue, the country has had neither income taxes nor corporate taxes, while bestowing on its people heavy subsidies for food and fuel. And the royal family has built spacious palaces at home while swanky houses abroad in places like London and yachts in the south of France. So there's money. They're awash with money. And essentially what they're saying is they are looking beyond oil. They want to change the pace. They look at the oil price right now. It's staying subdued for a period of time, and they want to get on with the show. I believe that they're heavily invested. Most of their revenue is coming from oil. And you see this year, imagine if you as an individual, there was no income taxes, no corporate taxes, and very important things, food and fuel, what we spend most of our money on, are heavily subsidized. You would have so much free cash. You would be able to take that into the economy, spend it up. You do well with it. You wouldn't just, put all of it under your mattress. Some people would, but eventually you would be able to spend it into the economy. So look how different that is between many of the places we live in. But as the oil revenue is reduced, you see a little bit of a change occurring. And in fact, they're trying to get into new avenues. What have they decided? Well, something that they've done recently. Getting into the financial world. That's right. And they want to even open up their market a little bit to the potential sale of a portion of their oil. This is huge, obviously. And they're valuing it, let's say trillions of dollars, what they say anyway. I won't dig any deeper. What we're seeing out of Saudi Arabia is very, very critical. Most importantly, as I'm sure 99% of you know, the petrodollar. It's key. The system is supported in one way by the petrodollar. So it is key that we pay attention to what's happening. Like I said, if you want a really descriptive article about Saudi Arabia, definitely check this out. I'll make sure it is in the description. Then we move on. Last but not least, I covered this while it happened, and now officially the verdict has come through, and it is very sad. A man who fought a $128 ticket for what? Leaving his car running was on the losing end of a court case earlier this week and may appeal the ruling. What did he do? He went to start his car, went back into his house to get his girlfriend and his 2-year-old son, and that 10 minutes or so time, the police officer came, left the ticket, and took off. Why? Because they say your car will be stolen if you do this. And it happens. It definitely happens. But let me be very clear. This individual started his own car with the money that he paid for, filled up the tank with gas. It's his money. That's his property, which is bought with his money. And it's his own decision. But yet the police ticketed him, and he fought it in court, and he lost. This is when you know that everything is disintegrating. The society is rotten. The economy is dying. And all major cities are at risk to be consumed, just like it is going on right now in Venezuela. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you will find my books, The Money GPS, and my new release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. In the first book, I get into the Money GPS formula. Essentially, what we talk about there is having your assets. And I assure you, you don't need that much money to pay for your expenses. Once the assets exceed the expenses, you are living free. The next book, the new book, has what I call the Money GPS strategy. And in the strategy, I talk about how to reduce your expenses. So these two meet in the middle, and you can become financially free. That's the goal. It takes time to work at it. It's not easy, but it is simple. If you're interested in looking through these books, just go over to Amazon. The link is in the description. And you can actually flip through the books for yourself to see if you like them. Take care.